Hello and welcome back to my craft room. If you've been following along the little danglers mini series that I've been doing, you'll know that I've spent the last couple of weeks making balls and bells and squishies and hearts and humbugs and tassels, and finally today it's time to assemble them all together and create my little decorative danglers, which you could definitely hang up for Christmas time, but I would definitely hang up like any time of the year. Initially I planned to make half a dozen, maybe 10 of these danglers. Well, I've ended up with 20 or more, I think. I have made quite a few of them up already, and I've saved 4 to make up on camera today to show you how I'm putting them together. I've been using a mixture of things. Pretty much everything that I've almost exclusively I've used scraps of fabric and other bits and bobs and doodads that come in the Bazaar scrap packs. I will put a link to Bazaar below. They're all rescued fabrics and things from the Indian textile industry. They do send all over the world. If you wanted to order some, I'm saying all this, I've said it so many times before, but every time I don't say it the questions come up. So if you wanted to order from Bazaar and you're not in the UK, you can order, but don't try and put the order through in the normal way. It will refuse you at the last minute. You need to work out what you want, email them. They're very friendly to get, they're very helpful to contact by email, and they'll let you know how much your postage will cost. They'll invoice you if you want to go ahead. You arrange payment with them and then they'll send to you. They definitely do. Having said that, you don't need to use stuff from, that's what I've used, because I had a couple of lovely packs that they sent me to use. I had a kind of reds one and a kind of greens one, but there were lots of golds and other lovely colours in there as well. So I'm using them. I've still got loads left. I'll show you in a minute. If you do, before I forget, if you do order from Bazaar, remember to put Arty Farty Annie Treat in the note to seller box right at the end, right at checkout. Or if you are ordering from overseas, mention that in your email, and then they'll put a little extra doodad in with the order, which is always nice. So shall we have a look at the ones that I've made so far? It's been so amazing to see other people making the balls and the bells especially, and the squishies, and thank you to Ammo Perfect Pastimes for suggesting the humbug shape. I really enjoyed the humbug shape. And people starting to string them together. You could definitely do them in long garlands as well. I wanted to make little hanging decorations. So that's what I've done. So I'm going to stop waffling now and take you to the desk. Here we go. Here's the selection that I've made already. I'm so happy with this. It just makes my heart sing looking at this lot. So I have, as well as the pieces of fabric, so you get a mixture in the Bazaar packs of silks, brocades, cottons, velvets. You get all kinds of things in there. You also get other odds and sods like this kind of thing and this kind of thing, and lots of these little birds. So I've used all of these. Some of the beads, these all came from the Bazaar scrap packs, but obviously you don't need to have all those kind of things, and you don't need to come back up again. I said I wasn't going to waffle. It's not waffle, it's important stuff. You don't need to have a scrap pack from Bazaar. You use whatever you've got. Granny Sue has been doing some beautiful ones with pieces that she got from Megan Crook Textiles, which are more kind of synthetic, shiny, kind of fabrics. Be lovely to do with that. You could do it with old t-shirts, you could do it with old Christmas jumpers. See what you can find in your local charity shop or op shop or thrift store, whatever you call it where you are. Have a look around. I did say the other day it would be quite hilarious to make it out of old underwear. Can imagine covering your Christmas tree with beautiful decorations made of old bras and knickers. Nobody would ever know. Some you've slow stitched into it and added some sequins. No one would ever know. So use what you've got. I'm just telling you what I'm using because people are always interested to know. And I love Bazaar, the Bazaar scrap packs. I love the company, the people, the Bazaar people. I just love the way they work, everything. So I'm very happy to recommend them, but you can use whatever you've got. So all of that said, let's have a look. I'm going to show you these one at a time, and then put them to one side and go through how I'm going to put 4 different kind of examples together. So let's go left to right. So here we go. This one I've used a crochet cotton to string them together. There are some little beads in this. Everything on here came from Bazaar packs. This beautiful piece, I've been looking for a reason to use this, and hoarding it away. Some of these doodads I've had for ages because I've been collecting Bazaar packs for a long time. So yeah, it's got this one. Obviously this was a ready-made doodad. But this was one of my slow stitched balls. This was one of the humbug type made from the scraps of fabric. This is one of the little birds. You quite often get these in the scrap packs. Felted beads and some other little beads that came from a necklace. This one, now here's one that this didn't come from, this came from somewhere else. Somebody sent me this in a package of goodies. So I thought it's a lovely way to use it. It reminds me of a wrapped chocolate. It's actually quite a heavy bead. But yeah, slow stitch ball, humbug, a little heart, and one of the bells. And then I finished off the bell with a little kind of felted ball. Again, that was all out of the packs. In this case, everything except that came from Bazaar packs. Playlist. Now, what did I don't think I started a playlist just for the danglers. I think I put them all in the Bazaar playlist. So I'll put a link to that, and then these will all be near the top of it. You should easily be able to find these. How many have I done? So there was the balls, bells, squishies, tassels, hearts and humbugs. And there'll be this one. There'll be 6 altogether. This one's a bit different. Now, this was actually made with some scraps of fabric and beads from my stash. I made this some time ago, and you'll see others in a minute as well. I made some boho bangles. This one, the middle of this one, is actually cut from an empty squash bottle. You know, just you could use water bottles or whatever. I will put a link. I'm going to write myself a note. I'll put a link so I don't forget, because that was quite a while ago. It might be more difficult to find. So I want to put Bazaar playlist and the boho bangles. So if you want to find out how I made these bangles, you could go and have a look at that. So I thought, well, I think it'd be a lovely way to use them and enjoy them. Really have fun making these, you can see, can't you? So yeah, I really enjoyed the idea of putting this little ball inside the bangle, and I think whatever angle it spins around at, it'll look cute. Yeah, really, that's one of my favourites, that is. This one, so we've got 2 of the birds and the felt bead. This one was in one of the Bazaar packs, and a couple of my slow stitched balls there with some beads in between. All came from a necklace that was in the Bazaar pack. I just cut it up so I could use the beads. I've got another one as well. I'll show you in a minute what it looked like before I cut it up. This one, so this is one of my tassels, slow stitch ball, a couple of birds. I think it's so cute hanging up. This one I've done the bangle, so I've done the same thing with the ball inside the bangle, but because it's a much narrower bangle, you've got a different kind of look, but I still think that's really fun. These little squishies are such a nice way to use these little fancy scraps of fabric in the packs. Really nice. There's Bazaar do jewellery as well, and clothes and all sorts of home items and things as well, but it's the scrap packs that are my first love. There's another one. Now this bead didn't come, that came again from a pack of goodies that somebody sent me, but it's so beautiful, and again reminds me of sweeties or jewels, or absolutely gorgeous. What a lovely way to use it. Little bird, again one of those little doodads you get in the scrap packs, and then slow stitch hearts and balls, and a little squishy. I think I might still go back through and stitch more sequins onto these, or do a bit of shisha work in some of them where there's space like this. That one is, to me, that space is now crying out for something. So I think a shisha mirror in there would be lovely. There's another one. Oh, this is one of my favourite of the humbug ones. It just showed off that gorgeous fabric so well. So in each case I've kind of, you know, coordinated the colours in the fabrics that I've used for the slow stitch pieces. So I picked the purple bird and the green felt bead to get to pick up these colours, and it goes well with this little shiny glitzy bird as well. I think you could hang these birds on a tree or something just as they are, really. There's another one. So this is one of the bells. This is a softer bell, this one, and I've instead of a felt ball this time, I've done, these are little doodads you quite often get in the scrap packs as well. So I've added that onto the bottom. It's a softer bell, that one, so it's got a different kind of look to it, more like a flower, isn't it? Like a fuchsia or something. Although I've never seen a fuchsia that colour. Yeah. I've added, there's a flower shaped button there. You could definitely thread buttons onto these. They're quite nice with metallic buttons as well. Or if you were making them in neutral colours, it would look really nice with mother of pearl buttons too. Or shell beads, things like that. Yeah, again, lovely way. These humbugs are just such a lovely way to use the fancy bits of fabric. Get this one. I think as they hang, they naturally tend to spin on their own, so I think they will just spin around on their own and catch the light. I've made sure that each one of them has got some twinkle in it, you know. So some of these are a mixture of the kind of ready-made doodads that I got in the packs and my slow stitch pieces, and some of them are just the slow stitch pieces. Love this one. Love the colours in this one. I can't wait to see them all hung up. I got bell, another one of the cushiony ones, and then I put a little dangly doodad there with a bell, an actual bell. This one's pretty simple. It's just 3 pieces on this one: a bell, a humbug, and a cushion. And then I put a little brass bell. Again, the bell came in one of the kits at some point, one of the packs. Always love an elephant. They're good luck as well. So yeah, so I've got the elephant and the bird were ready made, and then I've got 3 of my little slow stitch pieces there. I think my favourite ones are the ones that have these little very fancy pieces of fabric. I just think it's such a nice way to enjoy them. This one's pretty much all just slow stitched pieces, but with beads, and there's a button there in between, and I'm going to add a little bell on the bottom. And the last one I've got finished is this one with this gorgeous peacock, 2-headed peacock, so it looks lovely from all angles. Just love it, love this one. And again, I could still add more sequins and things on if I wanted to. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to thread them all onto it, because I think this is quite a handy thing. This is my great grandfather's regimental stick thing. What's it called? Baton? Anyway, the thing they kind of smartly hold onto there. I've got a photo of him stood like this, with it tucked under his arm, you know, like this. Yeah. But really handy thing to hang these onto. So I'm going to do this in a minute. I'm going to stop filming, hang these all up, then I'll come back and assemble the last 4 danglers together with you. Right, I've just threaded them all onto my regimental stick thing. Here we go, they're all threaded on. I don't think that shows them off to their best advantage, because it's because the background is very busy, but I think you can get some idea of how they're going to look, whether they're hanging in a tree or window, or wherever I decide to hang them. So I need to find somewhere to prop this. I can't imagine my great grandfather would have approved of me using it this way, but it's perfect. I'm so happy with that. Handy hooks on the back of the door. I've hung them over there for a minute. So let's now go back to the desk and I'll show you what I've got left to do. So this is what's left of the 2 bazaar packs I used for all of those that you've said for this whole project. This is what I've got left. They don't come in plastic. This is the sari bag that they came in. And this is what's left. So it's a red-ish pack and a greenish pack. Obviously you do get a bit of a mix. I've still got all of this left. I've got other plans for this, other plans for these pieces. And I've got, as you can see, quite a lot of different types of fabrics left. Silks, cottons, brocades. Yeah, some quite nice big pieces there. And I have got some other scraps, little smaller scraps that I've kept separately that I will use for tags. I'll put them out of the way now, because because I'm done with them for a minute. Here's what we're going to need now. So a little sewing kit. Oh, somebody asked about this, if I'd done a tutorial showing how to make this. No, I haven't, because this was very kindly sent to me by, it was Suzanne, oh no, I can't remember her surname. It was back a couple of swaps ago. She put this in with my swap and I was absolutely thrilled. And I've used it such a lot. It's got all of these. Suzanne, was it right? Something beginning with W. If you happen to be watching, Suzanne, I haven't seen her name pop up for a while actually. Do please reveal yourself. Remind me what your name is. I'm so sorry. I could definitely go back and find out from her. I wonder if I put some of these things, I put a little slip of paper inside to remind me who gave me what. I was sport rotten. But yeah, it's got all these handy, all these little pockets, different spaces for different types of needles and pins. Yeah, it goes around with me a lot, this does. These are the crochet threads that I've been using to string everything together with. I popped these in here because these were boho, no-sew boho beads that I made ages ago. Let's make a note too. So I will put a link to the video where I did this as well. There are lots of boho beads tutorials on YouTube, having said that. So I made these on camera some time ago. Again, out of scraps. A lot of the scraps came from bazaar packs. Some of them were scraps of ribbon and things that I'd got in my stash, and beads and things. And obviously I used some wire to string it all together with. But no, so where I wanted to add little tiny seed beads, I threaded them onto wire and wrapped it round and round. You can see there, kind of, hopefully. There we go. So they're great fun to make, and it did occur to me that these would look lovely hanging up as well. So I think I might end up just putting some little loops of wire or something on the end here, and perhaps finish off with something on the bottom there. So I put them there to remind me. These are bits and bobs that I still, you know, I mentioned about shisha mirrors. These are all things that have come in the scrap packs again. Not quite all. I think the bells have come in other sort of goodie parcels. So yes, some of these, like these, I think came from other people. But a lot of this, the little shisha thing, that is probably that's the kind of thing you'd get as an Arty Farty Annie Treat sometimes. All of these kind of little things that have come in the bazaar packs. Definitely these, that wasn't, I don't think that was. These could all be added onto them. So I'm still going to sit and do just a little bit more stitching tonight. Add on a few more bells and whistles. I love this, for example. That would look lovely. It would just fit perfectly on one of those diagonal squishies, wouldn't it? Things like this. Perfect. Catch the light. So I'm going to try and use all of those up as well. I don't think it'll be difficult to find spaces for those on my danglers. And then this was, so I had two of those necklaces. They had that what I think of as the peace sign, the blue things that I had, that I've put on a couple of the danglers. I got two necklaces like this with all of these beads. All of these beads on the bottom came from the other necklace that was like this. So I'm going to cut this other one up now as well. And then there were other odd bits like this that came. So that was on the silver star. This came off of one of the birds. But I did think, well, I could add this to my danglers too. So I'm going to try and use up these bits. These were offcuts which I've brought up just so that they can go in my orts jar. And I can use them for stuffing or whatever. These are a couple of the no-sew boho bangles from that video. I love this one because it's got the bells. So I'm thinking I might still find a way to use these. One way that I could use them, this one's done from a bottle, a slice of a recycled bottle, plastic bottle. This one I think was just a cheapy metal bangle that I picked up in a charity shop, and I just covered it and again wrapped it with wire with seed beads sewed it on. My camera won't want to. There we go. Okay, no stitching involved there as far as I can recall. Yeah, what I could do is take, say, 3 of the danglers that I've just shown you and attach them to this, bring the strings up into one loop at the top and hang it, and it would make like a little mini mobile. So that's something else I might do. That's why I thought I could use these. I've got this one still here, which I think I'm just going to hang on its own, or maybe just add some beads to. And that just came in one of the packs just like that, you know. You could just use it as a keyring or whatever, or I could get rid of the ring and just sort of add it to finish this one off and turn it into another hanging decoration. So and this one I think would just, I felt I didn't need to add anything to it because it's got everything it needs. I've just put it here to keep with the danglers, so I'll hang them all up together. So yeah, I've got some extra little bits and bobs to do there. So I'll take that all down with me. This basket, by the way, I made this myself 3 or 4 years ago, because it was when we were at the old house. So yeah, it must be 4 years ago, if not more. I made it out of newspapers. All the colour you see there, I didn't add that colour. I just went through the newspapers and pulled out the bits and separated the bits where there was a coloured advert in there and rolled those separately, and I rolled them all into tubes and wove them together. And I went through a period of making loads of these I've got loads of these baskets, different shaped ones. Here's another one, here's another one. And what amazes me is how robust they are, because I never even got around to painting or adding any kind of varnish or anything. This is just untreated newspaper. Isn't that incredible that it's so durable? Okay, let's do this. It's quite a big fat needle with a good big eye and quite long. It needs to be quite long, it makes it a lot easier. I'm going to take off a piece of this cord, a generous twice as long as I want the finished thing to be, so I need to allow for a little bit to make the knotted bit at the top. So yeah, I'm doing it this long for that piece. It's probably more than I need, but I'd rather err on the side of caution. Okay, I'm going to need my needle threader as well, I think. So I attach these in various different ways. For this one, I'm actually going to put both ends of the thread through the eye of the needle. I can only do them one at a time because they're too thick to go through two at a time. So what I've done is I've folded the thread in half and I've put both ends through the eye of the needle. I've got it a little bit twisted there, but that won't matter. So at the other end is the loop where it's folded. And what I'm going to do is put my needle through the top of this tassel. So I'm going to do this tassel one first. It depends on how you start off, largely depends on what you're going to put on the bottom. Different ways are sort of easier. So I'm going to pull that almost all the way through and then put the needle back through the loop. There we go. So I haven't got to worry about anchoring it or anything. That's anchored itself there, which is brilliant. I have that one handy in case I need some more blue beads. Some of the beads are the hole is too small for this needle to go through, so I may, well, it looks like I've got loads there, I may need to cut a few more off. I'm just going to put one bead here, like that, and then I'm going to find, yeah, I put the flower there where the join of the ball is, so I want that to show, don't I? So let's go up there, going in the centre there and coming up through. So I'm going to come up straight through the middle of that sequin. Checked I've got that roughly central. Pull it through. Now let's have another bead. You don't really need the beads in between, but I think they're quite fun and I've got them here to use, so may as well use them. I'm just going to put a couple there for this one, and then where all of the fabric was gathered up, it's quite good to make that the part where you join, because you don't want that to be the bit that kind of shows the bit that sits out the front there. So I'm going to go through that bit first and come out the opposite side. Go. And let's put another bead in between. Oh, it'd be nice if we could have that bright pink one there. Will that go through? Yes. It's got nice, give it a little pop of colour. And then up through the middle of the bird. You sometimes have to wiggle a bit to get this to go through. I had one of the birds I could not get the needle to go through at all. So what I did in the end was, I think I might have to do it with this one. It doesn't want to go through. Okay, let's do it with this one. So I'm just going to take a stitch through the bottom here to attach them together. go back through again. Just make sure that pulls all really tight so I don't get a gappage there. Because I can't make my needle go, I'll have one more go at getting it to go through. But what I did before was I just ran a stitch up there and just made it look like it was a deliberate decorative stitch. In fact, I could even, I've probably got enough thread here, I could make it a little bit of Y stitch, just so it looks more purposeful. So yeah, it depends on what you're using. I think like us, the people who make these stuff them with whatever they've got to hand. They use up recycled materials and things, so it can be a bit dense to get through. There we go, that just totally as if I did that on purpose. So that got around that problem. And let's finish off with a couple of beads. And now I just need to tie a knot close to that top bead. And there's a little tip for getting the knot to get close to the bead that if you don't know about, you might find handy. So I've just done a little, you know, normal overhand knot there. I'm getting in my own way here because I'm trying not to disturb these. Let's move these over so I want the knot to come down as close as possible to that last bead. So what you do is, I can take the needle out now actually, pop your needle in there and then pull this end up whilst at the same time pulling the needle down, so it's through that loop. Just pull the needle down to where you want the knot to be, keep pulling down, and that will bring it up right next to, because otherwise it can be a bit tricky to get it to do that. And that's right bang up against it. I'm just going to tie another knot here to make my hanging loop. Quartz jar. There we go, it's another one done. Love that one. Okay, this one's got a couple of interesting bits on it because it's got a bell to attach at the bottom, and then I'm going to do the bit where I'm suspending a shape inside the hoop. So this time I'm going to suspend the heart inside one of the more narrow bangles. Okay, this time I'm just going to put the thread through the loop of the bell first, and then again I'm going to put both ends of the thread. So it's just like that, and I'm going to put both ends of the thread through the needle. If you've got a needle with a big enough eye, just put them both through at once. Or if you're using finer cord, I'm using this crochet cotton because I've got lots of it. I love the bright colours and it does the job. But if you've got something else, use something else. You need something that's fairly strong, obviously. But something like finer like button thread would do. I just think it's nice if you've got some kind of a, you know, whatever you've got is going to show at the top. So you could use stranded embroidery cotton even, or perlé if you've got that. It needs to be fine-ish, also reasonably strong. And now I'm going to go in the bottom of this bell. I'm just literally going in the centre of it there and aiming to bring it up through the centre and out through here. It might come out so that it sort of shows on the inside there. It's not going to matter, is it? You're not going to look there. But as long as it basically goes up through the middle and comes out at this sort of apex of the bell there, that's what you want. Easy peasy. Straighten that bell out if it's got a bit rumpled. There we go. Cute. And it's nice it's got a bit of a jangle. And let's add some beads. Orangey one would be nice because it'll pick that up a bit. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, so I've just done that. And now I've got this one, so I could hang it that way. I like it diamond ways, so we'll do that. Just sticking it in there. This is where you do need a long needle, but it needs to be sharp as well. So I'm pushing it all the way to the centre and coming out the top. Easy peasy. There we go. How cute is that? It's nice both ways around. Should we do a red one this time? Let's do a red one this time. Now, this is where we get to the slightly more tricky bit where you've got to wrap it. Well, it's not really tricky. You've got to wrap it around the bangle. So you could stitch it through if you've got one like this, where you've wrapped things around it. There's probably enough fabric or thread for you to kind of stitch into. I'm just going to do it whichever way I can that feels like it's got it secure. I just want it to stay fairly nice and tight. There we go. That's okay, I think. Right, so now I've got that wrapped around, I'm going to put my needle under the thread. Just put a couple of stitches in there to anchor it. And I'm sure different people doing this will find different ways of doing this bit. I've got my thread all twisted now, look. It's my own fault. This is the way I did it anyway. So there, I've got like not too much space in between there, not too much gappage going on, but it has got room to move and dangle. And now I want some beads in between. So am I happy for them to be blue? Or do I want to seek out some different beads? I mean, blue is a complementary colour to these orangey colours, isn't it? Let's put some blue ones and see what we think. If I really hate it, oh, I won't go on. I may have to change it. Oh, I could use, quite like that actually. Okay, I'm going to need to cut a few more of these off then, because I'm starting to run out of ones that have big enough holes. I don't need too many. Quite like this kind of weathered, sort of warm colour, but it's sort of weathered, yeah. Let's just try that up for size. Want it to end up about central, so yeah, it picks up the nice warm colours of this quite well, I think. Now I'm going to go through bottom of the heart and come up at the top. And now I need to thread a few more beads to, we could just leave the cord there I guess, it would go up, but I quite like the look of the beads. So I'm going to do a few more beads there until I get to the top. Right, that looks about right. So now I'm just going to do the same at this end, wrap it around there and then secure it with a stitch. So just come up through there. And then I might just put one little bead. No, I don't like that one. That's better. And then same again with the little bird. This one's letting me go all the way through quite easily. So sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. I have seen a couple of videos on YouTube recently to make these little, so if you like the look of these but you haven't got any, they call them prosperity hens. I didn't realise that till recently. Some of the girls in Discord were talking about it, but yeah, you can make them yourself out of tiny scraps. So if you look up prosperity hens on YouTube, I think you'll find them. I guess that one's done. Just want a couple of these to finish it off. It's a funny wonky looking bead. Is it usable? Yes. Just make a single knot in the usual way, and then hold the needle in there to bring the knot down to where you want it to sit, and I'm making my second knot to create the loop. And that's another one done. I was going to say I could sit and do these all day. In fact, I have been sitting there doing them all day. Now I can't decide with this one if I want that bead there or if it doesn't quite go. Same thing again with putting both, folding the thread in half and putting both ends through the eye of the needle. So there we go. So I've got my two ends here, and the loop where the thread is folded is at the other end. So for this one, I could do a little bead in the bottom. I might do that with this one to show you, but for this one I'm just going to go straight from the top so I can leave the bottom all pristine, a pristine bottom. Go across this top, put it almost all the way through, but then go back through the loop before I pull my needle through. And that's nice and safe now. And again I'm going to go in the middle of the bottom of the bell and push it up to the apex. And I'm just going to pull that up now so that that little ball becomes the dangler of the bell. Cute! Let's have another little bead. I'll put this big one on. If I don't like it I can always take it off again. I think I do quite like it. I don't want these to look tasteful. I want them to look quite garish. You definitely could do neutral colours. You could definitely make them all beautifully coordinated. I mean, I can imagine these done in the most gorgeous, like Liberty fabrics and things. It would be lovely. It would be different from this. It would be a different look from this, but yeah, just as lovely. But that's not what I'm wanting at the moment. So am I happy with those? Yeah, I think it gives a little pop of colour. Now I'm going to do this one corner wise. Yeah, I think I was worried about this being silvery and that being gold, but actually that's fine. And then up through the middle of this one, again I'm making this bit where it's all gathered together, the messy bit is going to be the bit that will be against this, so it won't be so obvious. These big ones, it's a bit more difficult to make sure it comes up in the middle. Sometimes have to have a couple of stabs. And also this one's stuffed with aught, so it is more difficult to get through. Oh no, that really doesn't want to go through. If I really struggle, I will just stitch up the outside like I did just now on the little bird. Ah, there we go. Now I've still got to pull it through the other end though, so we're not out of the woods yet. Oh, there we go. If you find you're struggling to pull it through that bit, sometimes just get a little pair of pliers to pull your needle with. That can really help. And then finally up through my little bird. Let's not do a bead to finish off with this time, because I don't think I've got one in a colour I'd want. Maybe this yellow would be good. This is sort of a warm yellow, almost orange. That sort of picks up that yellow stitch in there, so let's do that. That's that one. And now we're on to the last one. Quite a little dinky one, this one. So just to show another way of starting them off, depending on what you're working with. This time I've got this bead I want to put on the bottom. Again, came out scrap pack. It's got a small hole in this end, but a great big hole in this one. So I'm going to make sure this hole is the one that's that's there. This might go, I don't think I quite decided fully where this one was going to go. Probably between those two. I think the easiest way to do this one is to start off with a little bead on the bottom. I really want one this colour, but I don't think any of these that I've got left will go over my needle. No. So I think what I'm going to do, thread the bead on first, and now I can put the other end through the needle. Match those ends up, put it straight, short ends there, loop at the other end here, and now I'm going to put my needle through that hole in the bottom of the bead and come out there, and that bead will stop it coming up through the hole, and add another little decorative detail as well. So I think with this one, I think the best way to hide that little kind of the fact there's a big hole and the plasticky bit is just to not put any beads in between and go straight into here, so it will sort of squish into that bit that I don't like so much and hide it. So So just going in the bottom and out the top. And I mean, you can see it, but not to the point where it's going to bother me. And I was thinking about putting this one in between that and the heart. I think that's quite nice because it picks up the green again. Then the heart, bottom to top. Now I could put the bird here and let the bird kind of nestle into the heart. Kind of feel like a few beads in between wouldn't be a bad idea. And that's it. There we go. One final knot. Well, no, I've still got the hanging loop one to do, haven't I? But that's that one. Cute. So these do look, because I think because of the red and green colours, these do look quite festive, but I would still hang these anytime. But you know, that's, I'm not exactly tasteful. There we go. They're all ready to join their family. Let's see if I can manage to get these into a thumbnail. I wonder if I can. Would it be better to hang these all up together? I cannot think of the best way to show these for my thumbnail. There we go. Those are my danglers all done. I am so chuffed with those. I think what I'm going to have to try and do is, when my white tree comes, I'll hang them up on there and try and take some nice photos. Okay, doing my best to get a thumbnail now. They're really hard to show. I'll have to get some better pictures with my camera in the daylight. It's gone a bit dark now. I think that might be the best I'm gonna do. So that's it. You can see it's dark outside now. I've been at this for hours. Oh, got that at a funny angle. I've really enjoyed doing this. I cannot wait to see them all hung up when my tree arrives. I hope you've enjoyed that whole little series. As I say, you can find, if you want to catch up on how I made all of the different shapes and things, it'll be on the Bazaar playlist, which I'll link in the description box. If you've got any questions at all, please do ask, and please keep sharing pictures if you're making any projects inspired by this. You can do that either by posting in the Facebook group or Discord community. They're both free to join. If you go to my link tree in the description box, you can find your way there. Or also in my link tree is my email, so if you don't do social media but you still want to show me what you've been doing, or if you want me to share photos for you, just email me and show me that way, because I always have to see what everybody's doing. It just really makes my day when somebody takes one of these ideas and these videos and does their own thing with it. It's just, yeah, such a buzz. Got loads more coming up for December. We've got our Whip and Waffle Wednesdays every week, 2 PM to 4 PM UK time, and we've got our big Arty Farty party night coming up next Saturday. So that is Saturday the 7th. It's always the first Saturday in each month, and that one's a bit more hectic. Whip and Waffle Wednesdays are kind of calm and chilled out, and we do a lot of crafting and joining the live chat and just, yeah, very chilled out. The Arty Farty party ones are a bit more hectic because we always have lovely goodies to give away. We've got a special Christmas stocking going on, special project coming up which will be launched on Sunday, so watch out for that. Something that a few members of the community have come together to create, and Tom and I are putting the finishing touches to that. We'll be launching that on Sunday, so watch this space. And yeah, I think I need to start using the I forgot what you call it. Is it the community tab in the YouTube thing where I can post and stuff? I never think to do it, but maybe that's a good idea, because I think some people who know me here aren't in the Facebook group and Discord, so you miss out on things. So I would try and remember to post there as well from now on. Anyway, quite enough waffle. Thank you very much for joining me for today and for the whole series. I really appreciate it, and I will see you again really soon. Bye.